I feel like I have been away for forever. I also feel like I should be playing the Eric Bischoff "I'm Back" theme right about now. Well, welcome to Squared Circle Radio Live. My name is Chris Belcher, and I am so happy to be back with you. The young buck Andy York is also here, and Andy, we got a lot to talk about tonight. I cannot wait.
Yeah, there's lots to dive in and talk about. I mean, we're at another preview of a pay-per-view, which is
Yep.
wild that we're already here. And it's an interesting card, I think is the polite way to put it. So it's going to be a lot of fun to dive in and talk about it. And we haven't really, me and you personally haven't talked wrestling in like 3 weeks. So there's a lot that could go off the rails in this episode very quickly.
Buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea how long this is going to go or how it's actually going to go. But let me tell you this, Andy, because we haven't talked about this in like 3 weeks. I've been on vacation, other things going on, that kind of thing. I honestly have enjoyed what I've watched. I didn't watch much wrestling over vacation, so I caught up over the weekend and I really enjoyed what I watched as we head into Night of Champions. And we have to talk about the main event first. We have to talk about the triple threat match. Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against Gunther and Sami Zayn in a triple threat match. Of course, this comes off the heels of the controversial SmackDown match with a fast count from Sami Zayn, and then Sami Zayn causing the disqualification and hitting Cody Rhodes with the belt, and yada, yada, yada. Andy, what did you think of what we saw on Friday night before we start diving into the match coming up this weekend?
Two things. I think it's a interesting way to set up the triple threat, and I think it's storyline wise, it makes a lot of sense doing what they did.
Yep.
The only downside I see is that it kind of makes Gunther look like an idiot for picking Sami to be the special guest referee, and then everything happening that happened.
Right.
It makes him look not the brightest, which
is what we've said for the last couple of weeks, man. It
Yeah.
seems like ever since he got to SmackDown, we had such high hopes after the first week, especially. And then after that, it's like he feels like an idiot.
Yeah, which you're talking about the guy that retired 3 legends within a span of like 6 months, and just it's ridiculous how bad he has been booked the last couple of months. And so I think that's like my biggest downside to what happened on Friday. But I do think it's setting up something interesting to take place at Night of Champions. I don't know what's exactly going to happen, but I do think it's an interesting setup, and it's an interesting match, and it's a great way to deviate from the last Cody Gunther match and really the entire story of Cody and Sami. So I think it's a great setup for it. I'm just very cautious about what's going to happen and what's going to happen next.
And we're going to talk about that. We're going to make our picks. We're going to dive into scenarios for all 3 guys because, Andy, I think this is as unpredictable as a Cody Rhodes match has been in quite some time. So we're going to dive into all that. We want to hear from you. If you're live with us here on YouTube, drop those comments in the chat. If you're watching the replay, you can drop your comments in as well. We'll make sure to go back and get each and every one of those. Andy, I was a big fan of what happened on Friday night. Like you said, it's different. I thought the way they shot it with Gunther and Nick Aldis getting into it backstage and then doing the split screen with Cody coming back out and saying restart the match, Sami Zayn getting attacked, and then of course Sami coming out and, like I showed you a minute ago on the YouTube channel, decking Cody, slapping Gunther across the face. I think that was actually during the match, ultimately leaving them both laying, Sami Zayn standing tall, holding the championship, Cody Rhodes being the one, Andy, requesting the triple threat match, which again, we all knew that's sort of where this was headed. Like you said, a very interesting way to get there. Just what do you think? I feel like it's unpredictable. I really feel like that there's scenarios that I'm going to present to you here in just a second that each guy could win this match, and it makes total sense because there's a path for everybody, because we can't forget about the history with Gunther and Sami either.
Yeah, I think there is a very low chance that Sami wins. I think he is firmly in this match to eat the pin, more likely than not. I think that's kind of his role.
Okay.
Honestly, the way I see this triple threat is as the way to get the title off of Cody without him having to eat the pin.
Okay.
And so, am I shocked if Cody wins and retains the championship? Absolutely not. Am I shocked if Gunther chokes out Sami to win the championship? Absolutely not. Am I shocked if Sami wins? I'm probably going to be pretty shocked if Sami wins, to be real honest with you. I don't see everything that happened leading up to WrestleMania, them putting the WWE Championship on him. I can't see that happening right now.
Well, let me push back for just 1 second, and I'm going to hold you to a prediction that you have had ever since the WrestleMania Saudi Arabia announcement, and that would be that Sami Zayn would be crowned champion in Saudi Arabia at that WrestleMania. Here, he gets a championship opportunity in Saudi Arabia. It's not WrestleMania. So are you sort of down on that now? Do you think it's sort of changed?
I don't think he's winning the championship. I don't think he's winning the WWE Championship at this point. I think it's too little too late for his for this version of Sami. But then they haven't done enough to make a lot of people care about a championship run for Sami Zayn. Do I wish that this was still the plan and that all of this was happening? Absolutely, I do. I think that would be a great way to have him win a championship is in Saudi Arabia and have that whole moment. Right now, I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think they have deviated away from that, and it's probably not what's going to happen.
City Kitty live with us in the chat. Hey, Andy, who's that stranger hosting with you tonight? Well, I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. Yes, I am very glad to be back talking wrestling with you guys. Again, I like what we saw on Friday. Very unique, and I'm anxious to see what's going to happen this coming Saturday at Night of Champions in this triple threat match. Now, let's look at it. We thought going into Clash in Italy that Gunther was going to come out on top. Both of us were like, it's locked. There's no way that Cody is walking out champion. And he did, of course, by the skin of his teeth or by the foot under the bottom rope, whichever you prefer to say. So let's look at the scenario of Gunther winning this championship. If he wins, there's a chance he's going to get the King of the Ring winner. It's either Obafemi or Jey Uso. I think you and I can agree that we don't want to see him face Jey Uso again. But I predicted a couple of weeks ago that it would be very interesting for Obafemi to cross brands and face Gunther rather than Roman Reigns in more of an unpredictable, you don't paint yourself into a corner type situation because you really don't know what's going to happen at that point. Having said that, Andy, that opens up the door for a fantastic match between Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn at SummerSlam. You can throw a no holds barred in there. You can just do a straight up wrestling match. And then, Andy, we could see Cody chase the championship, I don't know, all the way to Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, something like that. But then you could also see him get a rematch at SummerSlam for it. So to me, that's what Gunther's scenario looks like. Do you see anything else with Gunther winning for Sami or for Cody?
I think if Gunther wins, it's probably going to be a rematch against Cody at SummerSlam.
Okay.
If Sami wins, I think it's probably whoever wins that is not Cody Rhodes, they will be facing Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. Okay. I think if Cody wins, it kind of shuts the door on both guys. And I don't know, unless Drew, like a returning Drew McIntyre, is who we get for Cody.
I would say, and this is sort of skips ahead a little bit to our King of the Ring prediction, but that's okay. There's more to talk about with that match than just who wins. I would say that if Cody comes out champion, we get a Gunther and Sami match at SummerSlam.
Probably.
Straight up. No title, no anything. And I say that just because of the way that Friday night happened, the way that because in just reading the results, because I read the results before it happened, and I immediately thought, okay, Cody Sami makes the most sense. if, Gunther's going to win, it's going to be Cody Sami. And then watching it, I almost went, there's just as much beef with Gunther and Sami. They could easily take this at least into Saturday night's main event in the middle of July and have a match there if it's not SummerSlam. But we saw the confrontation, the interaction between Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes, planting this seed for Jey Uso to win the King of the Ring, which again, we'll talk about in a minute. But that is a very real possibility for Cody Rhodes. And Andy, Obafemi is a very real possibility for Cody Rhodes too. I think that's less likely if Cody ends up retaining. It's a good thing that we're going to see the King of the Ring final first.
Yeah, I think the King of the Ring final will tell a lot about the main event. Like if Jey wins, there is a 0.0% chance anybody else wins the main event other than Cody.
Right.
Like Cody's walking out as champ if Jey wins the King of the Ring tournament. I think it's very intriguing. Like there's a lot of directions to go for Cody post SummerSlam. Because I think there's still a world where like Jey doesn't win or doesn't win King of the Ring, but still faces Cody at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship
100%.
one way or another.
Yep.
So like, that's more than likely the direction that they're going to head in if Cody wins. I think there's so much more intrigue with Gunther or Sami winning because of the fact that one, Cody's going to be chasing them automatically, and so that is a big step. But then two, like you got to think you're going to have Drew McIntyre coming back at some point.
Yep.
You're going to have Kevin Owens coming back at some point. I mean, could you imagine a feud between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens finally for the WWE Championship? Like that is a big time feud to finally have happen. Drew McIntyre can go after Gunther at some point. Sheamus is always right around the corner when it comes to Gunther. I always think of those three kind of together because of what they did at WrestleMania 39.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of intrigue, but there's a lot of new directions they can go in with the WWE Championship that I think is so important because of the fact that I feel like both championships do not feel important right now.
Sure.
Like I think both world titles, honestly, I think all four world titles on the men's, like both men's and both women's world titles do not feel important right now.
Well,
and so I think they got to work on making the title feel important once again.
Having Rhea Ripley injured certainly hurts one of those world titles. And I looked at the calendar today. We're 6 weeks away from SummerSlam, and we were complaining about the build to WrestleMania until about 6 weeks before, and that's when we started to feel it. So I think once we get past Night of Champions, we'll start to feel that build for SummerSlam, and maybe these titles, maybe your mind will change. I don't know. I think this title feels more important than the World Heavyweight Championship. I think
I agree.
This one right here feels super, super important right now. I'll give you one more scenario as we close up this discussion because we got a lot to cover with Night of Champions. 5 more matches on the card, a 6-match card, Andy. One more scenario that is a new direction for Cody Rhodes if he retains the WWE Championship, and that's CM Punk. We saw it teased after WrestleMania. We've seen it teased since Punk has been on the roster.
Yeah.
No bigger platform to have Cody Rhodes and CM Punk if you're outside of WrestleMania, no bigger platform than SummerSlam. And we talked about it at WrestleMania season. Which main event was going to be bigger? Was it Punk Roman or was it Cody Randy? Well, you got to compete with Roman and Oba. Let's just say that. Or you got to compete with Oba Brock. How are you going to do that? Cody Punk on the other side makes a world of sense.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that should be saved for Mania. Like, I feel like that should be the next Mania match for both guys just because it adds a lot of freshness to Mania for both of them.
Yep.
But I'm never going to complain when we get Cody and Punk together. Like, right. I think the promo stuff that we've already gotten has been amazing. You add even more fuel to that fire. And then you've got two guys who really, like, they wrestle kind of an old school way, but in a new way. Like, they're old school style, but it's a new kind of old school. And I think they will just absolutely tear the house down whenever they wrestle. So I think that is a great direction. Plus, I'm more like positive about having that in the States than in Saudi Arabia. So like I think that's a great way to do that at SummerSlam as well.
Completely agree. All right. Again, we appreciate you guys being here with us. If you haven't subscribed to Squared Circle Radio, please make sure that you do so. Helps us so much here on the YouTube channel. If you're live with us in the chat, drop those comments, questions, predictions. We want to hear from you. We want to talk about what you want to hear about, because this show is for the fans, by the fans. If you're listening on podcast, make sure you're following on whatever platform that you have chosen. Andy, let's get to a match that I honestly thought we were not going to have to talk about, not just on Night of Champions, but I didn't think we were going to have to talk about this match anymore. And that is Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker. This time it's inside of a steel cage. Andy, 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, Seth Rollins beats Braun Breaker in the middle of the ring. Was the absolute perfect ending to this feud. Just kill it, just be done. I am fine, Andy. I know we're going to talk about King of the Ring in just a few minutes, because you were very down on it on last week's show. So I certainly want to bring it back up. I'm fine with Seth Rollins not winning that fatal four-way. I'm fine with him not winning the King of the Ring. I'm not fine with seeing him and Braun Breaker get in the ring one more time. Andy, what more are we going to do?
Yeah, that is the age. I can almost guarantee you the match at SummerSlam is going to be Braun versus Seth still. Like I think we're going to stretch this out because something's going to happen. Austin Theory is going to get involved. Logan Paul is going to get involved, and Seth is going to get screwed out of the win. And we got to run it back one more time. SummerSlam, no holds barred, another big extravagant thing. Like I honestly feel between the Vision, the Bloodline, Judgment Day that this is never going to end. This is never going to end. Like this should have ended at WrestleMania this year. Yes, like both guys were healthy enough to wrestle at WrestleMania this year. This should have been done in April. And I think we're going to get it through August, which is crazy that it's taken this long. Like that we are stretching this. I'm all for long-term storytelling if it makes sense. And this does not make any sense having this. Is the match going to be fun? Probably. Is it going to be a good match? More than likely. But the story going into it and probably what's going to happen afterwards, there's no need for it at this point. There isn't.
I mean, this has to be. We've said this since WrestleMania, Andy. This has to be the night Bronson Reed comes back, right? Like this has to be the night. And I know, like you said, it's something to prolong the story, but this has to be the night that Bronson Reed comes back. And I think if you avoid the SummerSlam situation, if you avoid them at SummerSlam, you can easily do. If you have to do one more, you've got the Street Profits and Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker, Austin Theory, and Bronson Reed as Saturday night's main event. If you've got to stretch it out, do it at Saturday night's main event, because you know the Vision's going to want those tag titles back from the Street Profits. Angelo Dawkins posted a picture on Twitter after they won the belts of them and Seth Rollins in red suits. So clearly they're, still in cahoots. Do the 6-man at Saturday night's main event and then find a way to get Seth Rollins into a match with Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. That's what you do. I don't know how you do it, but you cannot get Seth Rollins into a Roman Reigns match when he loses this cage match against Braun Breaker, because clearly it's probably going to happen. Yeah. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's, I'd be shocked if Seth wins. Like if Seth wins this, you can probably just go ahead and have Braun Breaker get released and walk away, because there ain't no coming back from this at this point. Like the story that they have told, post Mania 41, he was probably one of the hottest guys on the roster.
Yes. Yeah. 100% he was.
Now you look at him, it's like people react to him, but it's not nearly like when we talk about the future of WWE, we talk about guys like Oba, and we talk about guys like Trick. We should be talking about Braun Breaker right up there with them, but we're not.
We were 4, 5, 6 months ago. We were,
but not anymore. Like they have given him the Gunther treatment of push, pull way back, push a little bit, pull way back.
And I get,
it's just,
I get the injuries are a part of the game. I really do.
Right.
But Andy, has there ever been a group more snake bitten with injuries than the Vision? Like, ever. Never.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was Breaker, it was Bronson, it was Rollins, Logan Paul, and all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. I don't know. I know you said Bronson coming back. I kind of want Bronson to come back on his own and not like just if Seth wins the chamber match.
That's another thing
that needs to be done.
Yeah, if Seth wins this cage match, he is 4-0 in cage matches. So let that be what it'll be. If he wins this cage match, we saw the Vision already lose the tag team titles on Raw. Let's just sort of like Paul Heyman wasn't even with them. So let's just sort of like
keep Breaker off TV till after SummerSlam. Keep them all off TV till after SummerSlam.
That's what I would do.
Split them up. Put half of them on. Put Theory and Bronson on SmackDown. Keep Braun and Logan Paul on Netflix.
Yep. That's what I would do.
Call it a day.
Makes the most sense to me.
It does.
And that's how you get Seth Rollins into a championship match against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
It's not going to happen, though.
I know. I digress. You mentioned future of the business. Let's talk about him defending his United States Championship at Night of Champions. Trick Williams going up against absolute Ricky Saints. Every time they say absolute Ricky, I hear Starks.
I know.
When they say Saints, it's like, wait, what? I can hear Ricky Saints by itself, but when you put absolute in front of it, it doesn't roll off the tongue. But it is what it is, Andy. I'm excited for him to get this spot. These two young guys getting a really big spot on the show.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really good. Like, I think both guys can really go. I think it's a great mix of athletic big man versus athletic small man. Sure. I think it's going to be a great dynamic between the two of them. Trick has really come into his own here recently and has been doing a great job, not just on the mic, but promo skills, all of it. Like, he has done a great job to the point where you see when he comes out, he gets one of, if not the biggest reactions week in and week out.
Yep.
And so I think that's a big deal. Ricky has really taken off. I mean, we've been able to see what he's been able to do in NXT and in AEW. He's had some really big moments.
Yep.
I think this is another one that he can just really prove that he belongs to be on this stage, to be up there with guys like Trick and with Oba and, Ethan Page even. I just prove that he can be a top guy, even though he's a younger guy. So I think it's going to be a really, really strong showing for both of them.
Can I just take a minute and give some kudos to Carmelo Hayes? The dude, had an incredible U.S. title run. He's had incredible matches with both of these guys.
Yeah.
Put them to another level. I mean, look at the stuff he's been doing with Ricky Saints on SmackDown. And dude just does not get enough credit for where he has put the U.S. Championship division. Because we talked about Sami Zayn doing the open challenge from John Cena, and then Ilya Dragunov kind of dragging it down a little bit, pun intended. And then you get Carmelo Hayes, and then you get Sami Zayn and Trick, blah, 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 whatever. But Carmelo Hayes was really the one that reestablished that and really brought that U.S. Championship back to where it is right now with Trick Williams by way of Sami Zayn.
Yeah, absolutely. Which makes what happened going into WrestleMania even more frustrating. Yes. It makes it even more frustrating. I hope he gets, whenever this is done with Trick and Trick moves on to go to after the world title or whatever, Carmelo needs to be right behind him. Getting that title back, putting himself, because I think he's another one that he can, if you give him the right momentum and you give him the right chances, he can prove he could be a main event caliber guy if he is given the right resources and the right way to do things. I really think he can.
Yep. If you're live with us in the chat, again, thank you so much for being here. Drop those comments and questions. I know City Kitty dropped a comment here a minute ago, said it was the broken vision. It is. Absolutely is. It's not 2020, that's for sure. So drop those comments, drop the, we won't even talk about that. That'll take a whole other podcast.
It will.
Drop those comments and questions. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. City Kitty saying I'd like to see Dragon Lee get some wins also. Yeah, this thing on Raw with Rey Mysterio and Penta, and it would be good to get Dragon Lee some stuff. I think he would probably benefit from some AAA stuff, some NXT stuff a little more. I just feel like, yes, when he gets in the ring, we get really good stuff like we did today on Monday Night Raw. Just the roster is just so loaded, and with SmackDown going back to 2 hours here soon, there's just not a lot of TV time for guys like Dragon Lee, unfortunately. But yes, I think City Kitty is right. I think we need to see some more good spots for meaningful spots.
Yeah,
Dragon Lee. Let's talk about the Women's United States Championship. Jade Cargill going up against her old nemesis, Tiffany Stratton, the Women's United States Champion. Andy, this has to be a placeholder for Rhea Ripley not being on the card. Like, this is so thrown together, does not feel important whatsoever. Maybe that's because it should have been Rhea's spot. Maybe that's because Tiffany's U.S. title reign has just been forgotten. Seems to be a theme right now.
Yeah, I think they kind of forget who the women. If you're not Rhea Ripley, they kind of forget that you're a champion. I think is the theme that we have learned so far. Yeah, the hype for this one is not really there. Like, you're kind of right. Like, it's just a replacement match. However, Jade has been on a really strong run the last couple of shows. So, like, I'm excited to see what she does outside of a match with Rhea, but with somebody that she already has history with in Tiffany. So I think even though it's a thrown together last minute replacement match, I still think it's going to be pretty decent. Like, I think Jade at this point has a lot to prove and has a chip on her shoulder, which is a good thing. And I think she's going to show it. And I think Tiffany's kind of the same way of, she was women's world champion, like WWE women's champion for a long time. And then everybody just kind of has forgotten about it. Yeah. So I think she wants to go out and prove, no, I'm still that Tiffy. Like, I still can go and still be a main event caliber talent. So I even though the story is not there behind this one, I think they both have a lot to prove, and I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be better than what we expect it to be.
I mean, I hope so. I think the same thing you just mentioned with Jade and the chip on her shoulder. I think Tiffany has the same chip coming back since the Royal Rumble, like you said, proving that she is still the Tiffany Stratton that, cashed in Money in the Bank, defeated Charlotte Flair on the grandest stage of them all. So I think you're right. I just hope that those chips don't get too big for two women that are still fairly inexperienced and they force some things. And, I don't know. You know how I feel about Jade Cargill. And, but I agree. She has really been on a roll recently. She had a great performance in that Fatal 4-Way a couple weeks ago. Yep. So I think this could be good. I just think people are really down on it because it's so thrown together. It's not going to get the attention that it probably deserves. Let's talk about the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. Before we dive into these finals, you said last week that this might be the worst King and Queen of the Ring in history. I am going to fully 110% disagree with you that this is not the worst ever. Now, I think that wrestling is like ice cream. You like vanilla, I like chocolate. It is what it is. Like, for those of you who have listened to this podcast for a while, you understand that Andy and I have differing opinions when it comes to a lot of wrestling, and that's okay. That's why we have this podcast. We can bring you two sides of the story. I have been a really big fan of both King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. Now, have my favorite people won these matches? No, not necessarily. But I think everything's been put together really well. The only thing that I have not liked at all is I wish they would have found a way to leave Obafemi out of the tournament. That's been my only pushback. Otherwise, Andy, again, this is not setting up an argument. I just think it's been good. I really do.
Yeah, so I said it could be one of the worst.
Could be. Okay.
Depending on what happens at the show.
Okay.
If this show ends with Jey Uso and Liv Morgan as King and Queen of the Ring, it's been one of the worst of all time. Okay. Because of where if your whole goal was to get to Liv, who's already a champion, and Jey Uso, who is well past his time in the sun, then it's one of the worst of all time.
Okay.
Just because of the fact, especially if you're putting Jey over Oba. Like, I don't care if Brock gets involved and F5s him 20 times. If Jey Uso pins Oba Femi, then this is bad. Like, somebody needs to be fired over that decision, like, instantly.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it could be one of the worst of all time if this was to get to Jey and get to Liv. I still think it's ridiculous that Liv Morgan is even in this tournament.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense that Liv Morgan. I want it all. That makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense why you're in this tournament. Why the company as a whole would be like, oh yeah, let's just combine titles again. Like, it makes no sense why we're doing this. So the fact that she's in the finals is ridiculous and is so bad. And if Io wins this and Rhea's now hurt, so we end up getting Io versus Liv again at SummerSlam.
Right.
We've already seen it. Why do we need to see it again?
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say, is like, I can understand, because let's think back. 2020, Brock Lesnar entered the Royal Rumble as the WWE champion. And yes, I just compared Liv Morgan to Brock Lesnar. And we were all really upset when Brock Lesnar was going to enter the Royal Rumble at number 1 as the WWE champion. Let's not forget that that's probably the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time. Mm-hmm. As much as we hated the booking going into it. So I'm not saying this is going to be 2020 Royal Rumble, but I completely disagree that, and of course, City Kitty in the chat agrees with you that Liv doesn't belong in this. She's just not a fan of Liv.
I'm not either.
I'm going to push back, and I think Liv does belong. I think it makes sense for her character that she wants it all, that she is in this tournament. Do I think she should win it? No. Do I understand if we were to try to set up Liv versus Rhea again? Maybe. But again, now that Rhea is hurt, we don't know what her status is going to be. I think it makes the most sense for Io to win this match against Liv. Find a way. You do something with Raquel and Roxanne where they accidentally cost Liv the match. Io wins, and you hope that Rhea is healthy enough. If Rhea is not healthy enough, you have Io versus Charlotte for the vacant women's championship at SummerSlam, and you have to reset and just tell a new story there because Rhea is hurt. And heavy sigh there. If Rhea's hurt and Rhea's out, you shouldn't pivot back to Liv. You should tell a different story with Liv. You know, you have to vacate the championship at that point.
Yeah. But then, like, the argument is, well, then just give the title to Io because she literally ran through the whole tournament. So, like,
that's true. Yep. 100%.
So, like, why are we going back to that again? Which is why I'm always against everything has to go perfect for this to work. So, like, if one thing goes off, like Rhea getting hurt, then this whole thing of Liv even being in the tournament and making this far makes no sense. Like, you booked yourself into a corner now, right, where you have to kind of go with that option. I'm also not a big fan of, like, having to go 30 different ways just to make this decision make sense. Like, if this decision has to have 30 resources around it to make it make sense,
right,
it should not be done in the first place in a lot of ways. And so I think in this case, like, just Liv being in this, because I think a lot of people also thought, like, we're going to get Dom and Liv as King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah.
Which Dom as King of the Ring, I could be fine. Like, I could live with. If Liv would have lost at Mania and then won Queen of the Ring, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like, okay, cool, let's run with that. But the fact that she's champion, right, like, why is Roman Reigns as Tribal Chief not in the King of the Ring so he can go after the WWE Championship so he can have it all once again? Like, it does not make a lot of sense.
We're ready to tell with Roman just yet. We're pumping the brakes on that.
I better not tell that story with Roman ever again.
We're talking about all these scenarios and that everything has to go right. Andy, we survived a scare that not a lot of people are talking about. Liv Morgan went down with an injury yesterday at the WWE live event. I think it was in Birmingham, but she looked fine on Raw today. So I did want to bring this up because, like you mentioned it, like you got to go 30 different ways to make this, and it all has to go right. And it almost didn't even go right.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Liv is okay with that injury scare, but I don't know. I lean towards Liv winning here, but I also, the more that I think about it, the seeds that were planted again today on Raw with Raquel and Roxanne, it just makes sense for them to cost her the championship, have Io and Rhea run it back, and then you easily get Raquel versus Liv at SummerSlam, and you try to make Raquel or Roxanne, either one, the babyface in this situation. I think that's where we have to go as long as Rhea is healthy.
Yeah, and if Rhea's not healthy, then this is bad. Like this is bad. This is real bad. We're in a bad spot if Rhea's not healthy.
And you can't plan for that. You know, injuries happen and you can't plan for that. And nothing is ever going to go right.
Right. You can't plan for that, but you can plan in case of that. And I don't think we've really done that. And so I think that's my biggest gripe with the women's side of it is just Liv being in it and making it to the finals. I don't think makes the greatest sense in the world in all aspects. But if she does win, then I don't know how we get out of her winning the title at SummerSlam.
Right.
So like you're once again kind of backing yourself into another corner.
Right.
So it's hopefully we can figure out our way logically out of this conundrum and mess.
Right. Well, here's another conundrum that we are in, and I wish we weren't in it, Andy. I said it from Jump Street, but here we are, Obafemi and Jey Uso in the King of the Ring final. And Andy, you said it. I don't know how in the world that you get out of this without Obafemi winning. I just don't. However, all the seeds are planted for Jey Uso to win. I feel like Obafemi is a huge underdog in this match because, to an extent,
yeah,
because of the way that, look, they've been building all these side quests for Jey Uso. Well, when Jey wins this, when Jey wins that, when Jey wins this, when Jey wins that. What is it for Oba? The only thing that we got was him saying today on Raw to Jey Uso, "You're not the family member that I'm worried about." Okay, we know that you're going after Roman Reigns. I get it. So when you go after Gunther when he beats Cody Rhodes, it's not going to make a lot of sense. But Andy, Oba makes too much sense. You can't pin him with Jey Uso.
No.
But if Brock comes out and attacks Oba, it makes no sense from a Jey Uso perspective. Like, why would he do that other than just to get back at Oba? The scenario that I thought might happen, this is a way to get out of this, is you have Brock show up today on Raw, jump Oba. He's not cleared to compete on Saturday. There has to be a replacement. Insert whoever it is, doesn't matter, and Jey Uso just wins. Like, again, I'm trying to paint all these scenarios, Andy, of how do you get Obafemi out of this tournament, because I think it was a huge mistake to put him in it to begin with.
I do think I don't know if it was a mistake. I think it depends on the goal and what the goal of him being in the tournament is. Because I also noticed in his promo tonight, or this afternoon, weird to say, that he gets a championship opportunity. He did not say at SummerSlam. He said he gets a championship opportunity. So there is a world where he wins King of the Ring and just doesn't go after the title at SummerSlam and goes after the title post SummerSlam and goes after, and him and Brock go at it at SummerSlam once again. So like we have to have Brock's Oba at SummerSlam. Like at this point, there's no way around it. Oba has called him out so many times. There's no way we can't have Brock and Oba Part 3 at SummerSlam. I also think like there's no way Oba's going after. Excuse me. There's no way Oba's going after the WWE Championship. Like he's going after Roman Reigns. He's going after the World Heavyweight Championship whenever this is happening. So I We said it from the beginning. If Oba makes it to the finals, Oba has to win.
Yep.
Like, you cannot have Jey Uso. Again, I don't care if Brock hits 20 F5s on Oba in the middle of the ring. Jey Uso cannot pin Oba Femi. And if Jey Uso pins Oba Femi, then I will come back on this podcast and say this is the worst King of the Ring of all time. You can go back to all the other winners of the King of the Ring. I don't care who you bring up. This is the worst finals if Jey Uso pins Oba Femi.
King Mabel, 1995.
Don't care. Not nearly as bad as pinning Oba.
It's bad.
It's bad. I'm not saying it's not bad. It's bad. But Jey Uso pinning Oba is worse.
Here's another scenario. Let me throw this at you. Again, I'm not trying to justify Oba Femi getting pinned because I'm like you. I don't want to. I feel queasy about it anyway. Whatever it is. Oba could win this tournament and then Brock can attack him afterwards and we can delay whatever we get. Here's another scenario though. We saw last Monday on Raw a backstage interaction between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. And we saw Roman whisper something to Jacob Fatu. And you could have made the assumption, well, he's trying to tell Jacob to make sure that Jey wins the match against Javon Evans on SmackDown. And Andy, that didn't happen. So what if Roman is trying to get Jacob to be the one to help Jey against Oba Femi? And not only do we then do Brock Oba somehow at SummerSlam, we also get Jacob Oba on this road, and we prolong Oba to win the Royal Rumble and to win the championship at WrestleMania.
If it still ends with Jey Uso pinning Oba, then no. Like I am. The fact that this is even a conversation that we are having to have,
I know.
Is bad. It's not good. Like, it's not good that we have to have this conversation.
I know.
So, would I be excited at the prospect of Oba and Jacob? 1,000% I would. Like, anybody with the right mind absolutely would love that. But if we're taking all these steps, again, it's not a good decision. It's not the right decision. Like, the right decision, I'll tell you what the right decision is. They won't do it, but the right decision is the bell rings, Oba picks up Jey Uso, puts him through the mat, 1, 2, 3. Oba is King of the Ring. Like, that's how this match should go. It's not going to go like that. No. That's how this match should go. Now, the interesting part would be, let's say Jacob does go out, like, that's the whole story that Roman sent Jacob out, whatever, and Jacob costs Jey or like turns on Jey because he's said before, like, he doesn't work for Jey. He's not working for Jey and Jimmy. He's acknowledging his OTC. He's acknowledging Roman Reigns. I went on a whole rant about that last week. We can discuss that later.
Yes.
If that's the story you're going to go with, him costing Jey would make more sense than him helping Jey, even if Roman told him to.
Sure.
So, like, I think that is a possibility that we could see, happening as well. But at the end of the day, when that show goes off the air, Oba needs to be wearing the crown. Like, that has to happen.
Well, Andy, you're not going to have to wait very long because the King and Queen of the Ring finals are both airing on the first hour of the show on ESPN. So an even more of a reason for Oba Femi to not get pinned in this match, but even more of a reason for Brock Lesnar to show up on the first hour of the show in some way, shape, or form coming up on ESPN this Saturday. Andy, I don't know. I just don't. This is why Oba shouldn't have been in it to begin with. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, Andy. This is why Oba shouldn't have been in it to begin with. Like, I don't understand it. City Kitty in the chat. She has fixed everything, ladies and gentlemen. City Kitty in the chat. Danhausen curses Oba and Jey wins. Boom. We're done. That's it. It's over.
You officially make me hate Danhausen if that's the case.
Danhausen has helped the New York Knicks win the NBA championship for the first time in 50 years.
Reset Miz.
Shout out to the New York Knicks. He has brought the Miz back to his old self. I can't wait to hear a yes boy from Kit Wilson at some point. We've gotten a woo, you know it, from Matt Cardona. I'm anxious to see what's going to happen with JD McDonough.
Jordan Devlin.
I'm so glad that McDonough is first. It's going to be the best thing ever. But Andy, I'm very, I don't know what's going to happen. I hope it doesn't ruin the rest of the show. Let's put it that way. I hope it has a good chance of it.
Very good chance. If you start this show by Jay and Liv winning, I might just turn it off. You might lose me for the rest of the show. Not even kidding. I haven't turned off a WWE pay-per-view since like 2019 before it went off the air. You would have to really win me over in those two matches for me not to just be like, nope, I'm done. I'm done. I'll catch up later.
Especially if they follow it up with like Tiffany and Jade, that's not going to help you at all. So good luck with that pay-per-view. A 6-match card, Night of Champions, TBD on a post show for that. So keep it locked in the socials. We'll let you know if we're going to be able to hop on for that. It is an early start time. I think it's like 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern, something like that, because we are in Saudi Arabia. So it'll be a fun afternoon show, and then you'll have the whole rest of the evening to do whatever. So we like it when WWE PLEs are like that. Andy, we're not finished talking about the bloodline tonight because I have one.
Yay.
You love it when I say that. I have one more topic of conversation about the bloodline tonight that, surprise, surprise, doesn't make a lot of sense. This one, however, is centered around LA Knight. Andy, what in the world is actually happening right now with LA Knight, and why is he involved in this bloodline story? Could you please tell me what this is leading
to? When creative figures that out, they'll let you know, probably too. Like, okay. I honestly feel like we're at a point with a lot of these stories, they don't have an end goal in sight. Like, I kind of get the sense that we're on a week-to-week booking. Like, why is Solo showing up again? Out of nowhere.
I was going to ask you that question because it's like Roman all of a sudden sends Jacob on a mission to SmackDown after he bestows him with this new Ulafala or whatever they call it. I have no idea.
Ufalufa, I think is what LA Knight calls it.
That's what this one is. The Ufalufa, which should drive a wedge between him and Jay anyway, but that's again for another scenario. But he sends Jacob on a mission to SmackDown to go get Solo back in the family. Andy, why in the world does Roman Reigns want Solo back in the family after he beat him in tribal combat? And, you know, he did his own bloodline thing. Why does he want Solo back? That makes no sense.
Because we literally can tell no other story for Roman Reigns.
I will say this about the story with Roman. I'm not saying that it is great by any means, but I can see the scenario in which Roman is trying to put his family back together and it's not working. And that's the story that they're trying to tell. That's the power struggle for Roman Reigns. Because again, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, never in the initial run of the bloodline did we ever see this much infighting between members, between the Usos and Jacob Fatu. Clearly not on the same page. You throw Solo Sikoa in there and they're really not on the same page. And I don't know if it's sympathy for Roman Reigns because you feel bad because he can't put his family back together. But then you turn around last week and they take out Eric Andre and the fans chant one more time and Roman gives them one more time. And it's supposed to be this big heel thing, but everybody loves it. So I get that they're trying to do something a little different, but it boils down to the same thing because it's the same characters. So I think that's why it just feels so like we're stuck.
Maybe, But like last week was the most interesting this whole story has been.
Sure.
Like the entire time. Like the entire time last week was the most interesting it had been. Because it's the first time that I was like, oh, maybe they are going to actually let Jacob still be Jacob while part of this new version of the bloodline.
Seems to be.
Maybe. Like, hopefully that's the case. But adding Solo to this, like, we're literally taking 20 steps back for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to get Solo back in, if you want to tell that story, he needs to get kicked out of the MFTs. And he comes crawling back to Roman, and Roman has to put him through like a trial thing to get him if he wants back in. Like something.
That part of it does not need to be drug out. Like Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga walking out on him on SmackDown. We don't need to drag that out. Let's just be done with it.
Have it happen and move on. But the bloodline was so popular, and I get that. Like the bloodline was so popular. This is another NWO situation though, of like it's popular, but you keep going like this, and it's not going to work. Like you're going to drive it into the ground, and what was once cool is now going to become the laughing stock of the wrestling world for forever. And every time this happens, you're going to go, everybody's not going to call it the NWO anymore. They're going to start calling it the bloodline. Like the bloodline goes on for way too long. We've got way too many now. We've got way too many factions. We've got way too many other stories. Like it makes no sense in the world. And then you have, was it last week? I think it was that LA Knight confronted Jimmy, and Jimmy was like, we want nothing to do with Solo. But now you do want something to do with Solo. So like, what are we doing? What story are we telling?
And that's where the interesting dynamic of the power struggle comes into play, because Jimmy and Jay want nothing to do with Solo.
Yeah.
But Roman and Jacob have another play that they're running. So ultimately there's that sort of power struggle with this. I don't know exactly what that is, because you've got Roman encouraging Jay to go win King of the Ring and take the other head of the table, but you got him telling Jacob to do another thing. And knowing that they're not getting along, I get Roman trying to put this whole thing together. And I understand that, which, Andy, that's what makes me think, going back to the men's King of the Ring, I don't see Obafemi taking on Roman Reigns anytime soon, unless we get Oba versus Roman at SummerSlam and Roman wins, because I just don't see this, whatever they're telling right now, I don't see it wrapping up in 6 weeks. I just don't.
I don't either. But going back to what I talked about last week, Roman's story does not need the title. Like the title does not matter to Roman Reigns.
Sure.
And the title does not matter to the bloodline story.
Sure.
Like I can't tell you how much it irks me. There are certain things in wrestling that happen that like should not make me as angry as it does. And him showing up without the title, picking up the title from some random guy and just walking in, like that shows how little you care about the title, first of all. And then as City Kitty pointed out last week, like side plays haven't changed. So like
I did hear you guys talking about that. It has changed a couple of times. Like I did notice last week, whenever he had the title, that they had the WWE plates on it, but I have seen the Roman plates on them at some point. I don't think I have a picture of the Roman plates on there, but it's gone back and forth, and I don't know why. Because I could make the argument, Andy, oh, it was an overseas show, so they just had the standard TV title there, and they didn't have the Roman side plates. But it wasn't. It was in Baltimore. No. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I have seen the Roman plates on the championship, but it's not consistent. So that makes it even make even less sense.
Yeah. So I think there is a world where Oba takes the title off Roman, and we go off on this bloodline storyline without the title. Like the title, the World Heavyweight Championship doesn't mean anything. It's all about, once again, the tribal chief and all this. And I literally feel like we are back in 2024 telling the same story again of who's the tribal chief, who is the real OTC, who is the number one, who is the guy on top.
Right.
Like I don't understand why we are going so far back to tell the same story with very minor tweaks. Like if we were doing something majorly different, it was one thing. But it's like it feels like beat for beat, almost the exact same story.
Because you can easily see Roman losing the title to Obafemi at SummerSlam, Jey Uso beating Cody Rhodes for the championship, and then Roman and Jey have this power struggle for that championship, which is the title that made Roman Reigns. So you've got that whole scenario going on. Let me circle back to my original question, which was about why in the world is LA Knight involved in this bloodline story? Because he and Jimmy are supposed to be cool, and then he hits Jimmy, and then Jimmy ends up super kicking him. They have a match on Raw this week, and Solo comes out, costs Jimmy the match. LA Knight says, well, okay, well, thank you. So I don't know if there's an alliance there. I just don't know where LA Knight fits into this, because Andy, it doesn't seem like he's going to get a shot at Roman Reigns, or why that would make any sense at this point.
If we were telling a cohesive story with a beat by beat, beginning to end, the way things have laid out, it would feel like LA Knight would be the guy to take the title off of Roman because of all the bloodline stuff that has happened with him out of nowhere. Like how quickly we shifted from the vision to the bloodline for LA Knight is wild. And like WrestleMania plays a big part in that. I fully understand that. I get that aspect of it. But it also shows how rushed this bloodline story has been to get it started. And like we're already this short into it, and we're already taking these this many beats, and we got 4 members all of a sudden out of nowhere. When going into WrestleMania, there's a whole lot of issues with this whole story, because Roman said he didn't need nobody. Now he's getting the whole family back together. Which one is it? What are we doing? LA Knight's thrown into there out of nowhere. So like if we were telling a cohesive story, LA Knight should be the guy to take the title off of Roman. Like he should be the guy that's like the bloodline hunter that's going out and taking out every single member of the bloodline until he gets to Roman and he takes the world title. And me and you both know that is never happening ever, 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 because they do not care about LA Knight. They don't care about him as a top guy. They just don't see him as a top guy.
City Kitty in the chat. Maybe it's survival of the fittest, and Roman is trying to weed out the bloodline by causing infighting. Well, that's an interesting way to look at it. Maybe Roman is trying to kill his creation from the inside, and so that he's the only
a lethal dose of poison.
You got it. Got it, kids.
Hey, it's the NWO again. Look, it's full circle. It's literally full circle.
Let me bring up one more thing about LA Knight before we close up shop. Appreciate you guys being with us live in the chat. Again, drop those comments, questions, Night of Champions predictions, all those kind of things. How have you felt? I know that this bloodline story is a bit convoluted, and putting LA Knight in the middle of it, and all those kind of things. How have you felt about LA Knight's performances, though? Just him over the last couple of weeks, because I wasn't on here to talk about the John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt promo and him really chasing the hug of the Baltimore hometown ovation, where he had to say the city name 3 times. Andy, I feel like he's probably frustrated with this creative as much as we are, and it's starting to come out in his performance, and I don't feel like it's been good the last couple of weeks.
I don't think it's been bad. Like I haven't noticed that aspect. I think what I've noticed more is this is the stages of him turning heel at some point.
Okay.
Which is what I lean into more, because I mean, you had the whole thing with the guy throwing the microphone at him and he dropped it and he made him throw it again. Like the crowd loved that. Like they ate that up. They loved all of that. I think LA Knight is one of those guys. He can cut that promo. You know, we all make fun. We all go back to the suffering succotash promo for Roman Reigns.
Right.
LA Knight's the kind of guy that's got enough charisma. He can cut a promo like that, and we're all like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it makes sense for a guy like LA Knight to be able to say that, and people laugh at it, or it's not like a serious line that he said. It's just him riffing off the top of his head, trying to be funny. So no, I don't think it's been bad. I don't. If I was in LA Knight's position, it would be hard for me to care about a lot of stuff right now.
Sure.
So like the fact that he is giving us what he's given us and is investing seemingly as much as he is, I think is a testament to how professional he is, because he has been at the top, not just like on the card. He's not been on the top of the card, but he's been at the top of a lot of fans' minds for a long time.
Sure.
He's had the support time and time and time. Every time they try to push him down, the crowd picks him back up every single time. So I can't imagine how frustrating it is to be in this spot week in and week out every single week.
Flavors C333 in the chat with us. Thank you so much for being here. LA Knight going through some hard times. He is. Like, I don't think it's been bad, like you said. I think the crowd is still there with him to an extent. I have noticed them not being with him on his promos the whole time like they normally have. I think he needs a hard reset, man. I really wished that when the Vision took him off TV and he came back, that we would get a hard reset of LA Knight, and for example, I'm not saying change his name, but hear me out for a second. The name LA Knight screams what? Los Angeles. So when he walks out in Baltimore, which is an hour from his hometown, and he thinks he's going to get the hometown pop, Andy, where does everybody think he's from? LA. Like, so that's different. He's trying to make that connection without telling the people. And I can see where that disconnect is. And I don't blame him for that. What I'm saying is I wouldn't have chased that Baltimore, I'm coming home to Baltimore pop, because most people probably didn't think that you're from Baltimore. Again, like you said, riffing off the top of his head, that's just kind of the way that he is. You listen to any interview that he does, he hates scripted promos. He just wants to get out there and do it. And for the most part, he's pretty good at it. But Andy, I think to your point, you're in the position that LA Knight is in right now. You're very frustrated with what's going on. Listen to him in Chris Van Vliet's show. He said he's kind of frustrated with what's going on. I think we need just a full-on heel turn from him.
Yeah, full-on heel turn. Let him finally win Money in the Bank. You know how easy it is? Like, how easy it is for him. How many years in a row has he been the odds-on favorite by the fans going into that event to win? Are we at like 4 now?
Yep.
Something like, and never won it.
Bro,
never won it.
Let him win Money in the Bank in October, cash in on Cody Rhodes, have a feud with Cody Rhodes. Boom. That's easy. That's easy.
Yeah. Like, there is no reason, for as popular as he was after the Bray Wyatt stuff and leading into what we've gotten over the last several years, why he has not won a world championship.
At least another mid-card championship, because he won the U.S. title twice. But I mean, Intercontinental Championship, let him have that. Something. Yeah, I agree. Something. All right. We are going a little bit long, but I have 2 more quick things to bring up that happened on Monday Night Raw today, and we'll be very quick about this. Andy, we finally saw the split between Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. It was not the split that we anticipated. Lyra Valkyria being the one to turn heel today.
Yeah, we talked about LA Knight getting a hard reset. I think this is probably good for Lyra.
Yes.
Just to get something different and to go in a new direction. And we all know by the end of the feud, they're going to be tag team again and going forward and moving on and hugging each other again. And we're going to be right back where we were in about 6 months. So don't get too invested in it.
Speaking of being invested, I miss the schizophrenic Bayley that we never got.
I forgot about that.
It's one of the biggest misses of the Triple H creative regime,
oh my goodness,
in my opinion.
Yep.
I mean, we just totally stopped doing that.
Nothing.
Shout out to Maxine Dupree and her promo today on Chad Gable. Holy cow, man.
Yep.
That whole segment was so good with Gable and the Alpha Academy, and Maxine Dupree's promo just fantastic. I love what they're doing with Chad Gable right now. I hope it continues. I love his theme music. I think it's really, really cool. I don't like the clapping along with the fans, but I love the theme music. I think it's super cool. My question to you, because I know you love what they're doing with Chad Gable, and we want that momentum to just continue. My question to you, the injury to Chad Gable when he was El Grande Americano, was the biggest blessing for him, for Kaiser, for AAA, for everybody. But what do you think, if you have to put your creative hat on, what do you think their plan was for Gable under the mask had he not ever gotten hurt? Like, what do you think they would have done? Because we know the AAA relationship was blossoming at that point anyway. So it would have probably culminated somewhere there. But what do you think their plan was going to be?
Honestly, I don't think their plan was long term. Like, I think it was probably like a month or two of Gable doing this, and then like he unmasks himself, shows that he's Chad Gable,
right?
And we kind of go back to the status quo from before. Then I think it was honestly just like a goof thing that they wanted to do for a month or two, and then go back to what they were doing. So it's amazing how that injury literally changed both those guys' career. To the point where like Kaiser's the most beloved man in Mexico right now, and Gable, like, we think Gable is a massive babyface here. Whenever he walks out of the curtain again in front of a AAA crowd, they are going to go ballistic.
Well, listen, didn't that new group, didn't they jump Kaiser like last week or whatever?
Yeah.
Dude, have Gable walk back through and save Kaiser. Oh, man.
Yeah. The place will go absolutely crazy. Honestly, though, like, you cannot stop this push with Gable.
Yeah.
It has to end with him winning the IC title. Like, sure. I love Penta. I think Penta is awesome. I think Penta is great. I think he is if I think of anybody on the roster right now and I think of the Intercontinental Championship, probably the first person I think of is Penta, because I think that title fits who he is. I also think it fits who Chad Gable is. And like the style of wrestler that he is, he should be Intercontinental Champion. And I would love it if they could find a way to interestingly book it to where he maybe not breaks Gunther's record, but he gets real close. Like, he just goes on a tour with it and just starts beating people.
You got another mid-card title on the other show. Give him the U.S. title. He doesn't have to beat Trick for it, but give him the U.S. title. You could do that.
Yeah, give him something.
Because Penta has been incredible with that Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
I think we said at Saturday Night's Main Event a couple of weeks ago that Ethan Page should be the one to take the title off of him. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. Chad Gable needs something. We got to culminate this somewhere into something.
Yeah. And I think it honestly ends with whatever title he wins, Alpha Academy will come out at the end and like shake his hand, hug him, lift him up, all that. Like, I don't think Maxine will be a part of that, but I think Otis and Tozawa will definitely go out and celebrate with him.
Which is probably why you have to keep him on Raw, so that they're able to do that. All right, man. Good stuff. An hour and 10 minutes tonight. We went a little lengthy, but that's okay. It was my return to the show, so we had a lot to say. We had a whole lot to talk about. And Andy, the longest PLE since WrestleMania of any that we've seen until SummerSlam, of course, but a 6-match card coming up, Night of Champions, this Saturday. Again, stay locked in our social media at SQCircle_radio to make sure that you're following along. If we end up doing a post show, we'll let you know on there. City Kitty, one last comment in the chat. Chad Gable has earned my respect and become likable since his AAA run. Have you watched the documentary about his injury? No, but it is on my list of things to watch. I think it's on YouTube. He produced it himself. It's about his injury and his rehab and this, that, and the other. So I'm going to seek that out. I'm pretty sure that's on his YouTube channel. It's like a 7-part series or something, but they're only like 10 minutes each, 12 minutes, something like that. So not very long. But I'm going to go check that out. Man, fun show. Lots to say. We are on the road to SummerSlam, especially after this Saturday, and I'm really excited. I really think, Andy, I know that we're very nervous about how the King and Queen of the Ring matches are going to go, especially because they're on ESPN, but I am very much looking forward to this show on Saturday. It's going to set the table for the rest of the summer and into the fall, and barring any kind of injury or bad thing happening, I think it could be a really big show.
Yeah, honestly, it's going to go make or break in a lot of ways for SummerSlam and for the show itself. I think it's if it hits like it needs to hit, then SummerSlam's going to be in a great spot.
Yes.
And the card's going to be in a great spot, and the hype for it is going to be in a great spot. But they could very easily kill all the momentum in the world if they do not handle things properly.
100%.
So it's if I'm Triple H right now, I'm excited and a little nervous for Saturday. Make sure that we hit all the beats. Make sure that we have a proper story in place, proper everything in place, and deliver like we know that, and we have seen that they can deliver. We've also seen the flip side of it before too. So I'm excited and nervous and could be ready to burn everything down depending on what happens Saturday.
And that's why we love professional wrestling, because we're going to be right here to talk about it, and we're going to watch the next show and the show after that, and the show after that. And it just, even if Andy turns it off after the first hour, he's going to watch the next show, and it's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be fine.
I'm a glutton for punishment.
You are. That's it. That's why you watch AEW. And I'm done.
Oh, no.
Oh man, no, we appreciate you guys being with us in all seriousness. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you do so. If you're listening on Sports Wire Radio, keep it locked in right here for some more great content. Thank you, Tom Bryce, for all that you do. And thank you for inducting us into the Sports Wire Hall of Fame, not once, but twice. We appreciate all of you listening on podcasts. Make sure you're following on whatever platform that you're listening on. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Leave those comments. We'll get to them after the show as well. Thank you so much for being with us. That's the Young Buck Andy York. My name is Chris Belcher, and this has been another edition of Squared Circle Radio Live. We will catch you guys down the road.